Greetings, fellow humans, and welcome to the first in a series of lectures that I'm going to call the Obscure Film School. What I hope to teach you, good people out there, is the history of low or no budget filmmaking by examining some case studies that, for whatever reason or another, have fallen through the cracks of obscurity. Okay, let's get started. In our first lecture, we're going to be looking at rip-offs. Our case study will be the 1985 science fiction thriller Trancers, which Leonard Maltin described as a low-budget rip-off of Blade Runner and the Terminator.
Fuck 'em.
When ripping off the Terminator's time travel from the future to kill people in the past so their descendants never get born plotline, it's by no means necessary to stick to the original character tropes. For example, future soldier becomes future cop. Young waitress on a scooter? Young Christmas elf on a scooter. Indestructible Austrian cyborg? No, your villain is gonna be... this guy.
As you may have gathered, I have survived the pathetic trap set by Trooper Death on Beacon 7.
I know, I heard it too. Here's a Star Wars line, maybe that'll make it better.
You will go to the Dagobah system. Dagobah system.
There you go. And no, you're not seeing things. That actually is a pre-Mad About You Helen Hunt in one of her first starring roles. So anyway, our not Kyle Reese is actually an LA detective, and he lives in the year 2000 and blah blah blah.
Coffee.
The real stuff? That's gonna cost you.
And he goes by the name of...
Jack Death.
I'm sorry, what was that name again?
Jack Death.
Jack Death.
Your name's Jack Death?
Yep. I guess his partners Bob Blood and George Involuntary Manslaughter were unavailable.
You're our only hope.
That's on my terms.
He's played by a guy named Tim Thomerson, who's had a long career playing frowning good guys and frowning bad guys.
The fucking humans.
Now, look at this VHS tagline here.
Jack Death is back, and he's never even been here before.
What does that mean? Is this a sequel to a movie you forgot to make? Also, you might want to make sure that on the box your character's wearing the same thing he wears in the actual movie.
You're wearing that?
And maybe has the same face. Now, to be fair, there was an alternate box cover released, and it does have a better tagline and more appropriate visuals and the wrong title. In case you're wondering what the hell a trancer is, this is a trancer, and 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 this is a trancer! You see, our villain Whistler has this strange ability to hypnotize ordinary people and turn them into mindless zombies and bend them to his will.
Our agenda is to report the news fair and balanced.
No, that joke is too easy.
How do you know Whistler's location?
We monitored a line disruption in Los Angeles, December 1985.
Now, Whistler has time traveled back to 1985, where he intends to spread trancers across the world to kill the ancestors of the two old white people that somehow make up the entire government of this future America. Yeah, all of this got reduced to this. Now, when writing a time travel plot device, do your audience a favor and spare the awkward rear nudity. How? By having only his consciousness travel back in time to inhabit the body of his ancestor. And then throw in some awkward rear nudity. Is this a normal morning ritual to flash your breasts at downtown LA?
I'm from another time, another world.
Now, we all know that no time travel story is complete without the requisite fish out of water jokes.
Huh?
Time traveler perplexed at street names.
CAH, you were...
Wanga.
Time traveler perplexed at food.
Beef. You like from a cow?
Time traveler perplexed at a terrible thrash metal band called the Buttheads playing Jingle Bells. Okay, well, I'll give him that one. The Buttheads really do need to go back to their Hanukkah roots.
Dreidel, 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 I make you out of clay! Dreidel, 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 with dreidel I shall slay!
So Jack follows Helen Hunt. Yeah, I know her character has a name.
Your name is Lena.
Whatever, we're just gonna call her Helen Hunt.
Oh, thank God.
Anyway, he follows her to her Christmas job at the mall and...
And what would you like Santa to bring you for Christmas?
Mr. Potato Head, hungry, hungry hippos, a Transformer the Decepticon.
I'm sorry, kid, you want a Transformer the Decepticon? You're asking Santa for a cheap Chinese knockoff instead of the real thing?
Lena, I need to talk to you.
Not now, okay?
Listen, I'm not crazy. I need your help.
And...
Whoa, there is something really, really wrong with this Santa.
He's a Trancer.
No shit!
And this scene just fills my heart with the Christmas spirit.
They shot Santa Claus.
Jack and Helen race to save some surfer dude from getting terminated. In the previous scene, Jack had dropped a vital clue that Whistler needed to find said surfer dude and turn him into a Trancer who promptly kills himself, thus wiping out his descendant in the future. Whistler shows up and decides to execute our heroes by scowling them to death.
Farewell, Jack Death. Fire.
Wait. What the hell just happened? Are we in test footage for the Matrix or something? What's going on here? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this one little tidbit. Jack has a special watch that can slow down time.
Right.
I could kill you right now. Okay, maybe next week. This movie is so cheesy that Helen Hunt actually sounds disappointed that she hasn't been killed off yet.
Why aren't we dead?
Why aren't we dead? Oh, just take me to Bill Paxton's house. So in case you're keeping track, the Council of Crabby People only has one member still left.
There are 2 empty chairs in the council chamber. There shall not be 3.
Well, whatever. We've got more of Jack running around in the dark and getting cornered by this really creepy Trancer cop.
You and your men have been tranced by Whistler. You're slaves to Whistler. Fight it. Concentrate.
No! I've pledged my life to him. My orders are shoot to kill.
What's with his voice? Is he turning into a zombie or running out of batteries?
They keep going and going and going and going.
Yeah, okay, so there's more Trancers and a scooter chase. And seriously, a scooter? Was that old guy even acting? I think they just crashed into his nursing home and she was like, hey, wanna be in this movie? And he was like, look, a door. At this point, we do come across our most interesting character in this movie by far. Remember what I said earlier about swapping out Sarah Connor for Helen Hunt? Technically, this guy is actually the not Sarah Connor in this ripoff. Yeah, President What's-Her-Name's ancestor is actually a washed-up Major League Baseball player named Hap Ashby.
I don't see one of these in a long time.
Who has become a homeless alcoholic and, according to Jack...
You're gonna try out, get a job, meet a girl, and have a kid. His descendant's gonna be one of the greatest leaders in the 23rd century.
You have a character with this much backstory and that much future story, and you don't introduce him until 20 minutes before the movie ends?
Whistler?
Jack calls Whistler up and tells him he's ready to hand Ashby over to him.
I want to make a deal.
Wait, what?
Relax.
That was a trick?
Yeah, sure. I'm a cop.
So Jack's big cop plan is basically the bait an idiot with a prize sting operation. We really aren't that bright in the future, are we?
Call to him.
Jack!
Perfect.
Is that Jack down there? No, it was Ashby disguised as Jack.
Merry Christmas.
Way to go, Jack, for using the guy that you were sent back in time to protect as a decoy that the bad guy shoots at instead of you. I'm sorry, I know that this is dated, but I gotta. Anyway, Jack saves Helen Hunt and dispatches our villain in a way so weird and convoluted I can't even begin to explain it.
The hell?
But this old woman doesn't die. Jack decides to stick around in 1985, and Helen Hunt decides to stick around for 2 more sequels before dumping him for another old guy named Jack.
You crazy fuck!
And that concludes our lecture on the film Trancers. What it lacks in production value and overall originality, it more than makes up for with engaging characters that you can't help but want to watch. Jack Death, for all of his corniness, is actually a very likable and entertaining protagonist, and Thomerson does a decent, respectable job in the role. He's not a great actor, but his chemistry with Hunt is solid, and you can tell they're both putting in the effort and having a good time with it. Trancers is best watched back-to-back with Trancers 2, the direct sequel, which is clunkier but adds more to the story than it detracts from it.
Jack, you son of a bitch!
Trancers 3 is a typical threequel closing out the original trilogy with a lot of build-up and no real payoff. Wow, imagine that. Trancers 4 and 5 form a 2-parter about vampires in Middle-earth.
I don't buy any of that bullshit.
It's written by Peter David, who usually does a lot of great stuff, and
Something tells me I'm not in Kansas.
this really isn't it. There's also Trancers 6, which Thomerson isn't in, and Trancers 1.5, which isn't really a movie, but a reel of deleted scenes from the original, mixed in with footage from other Full Moon productions to try and form a coherent narrative that's about 30 minutes long. Now that is a ripoff.